I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Today class I am going to explain mapping parameters and mapping variables. Mapping parameters and variables. What is a mapping parameter? A mapping parameter represents a constant value. The value of the mapping parameter won't change during session run. So generally we define parameters in a parameter file. So when we go for mapping parameter, if you know there is a chance of changing frequently, suppose if you take tax, it might change frequently. Suppose if you take discount, based on season, discounts will change. So in such cases, you can define those things are parameters. How you are going to define a parameter? With $$ symbol. Suppose I can define $$ discount or $$ tax. And you are going to define this value in a parameter file. So in the mapping level, we are going to declare parameters. I'm going to show with an example how to use these parameters. A parameter is nothing but a constant value. It won't change during session run. So when we go for parameter means the frequently changed values. I'm going to show with an example how to use this mapping parameter concept. All programs. Informatica. Enter the username and password. Now I am connecting to source. Select star from. Okay. Then you can see list of tables under this user. Select star from emp underscore d. So this is my source table. Here I am going to use filter condition using parameter. So first I want to load department number 10 employees. After that I want to load 20. After that I want to load 30. Whenever I want to load a particular department, then I am going to change the parameter file. I will show you with an example how to do that. This is my source. Now I am connecting to target. So here I am creating a table. Create table. Table name is map underscore parent. Whatever name you want, you can do. Employee number, email, cat 120, salary, number, D number. So here my source is empdpt table and my target is map underscore parent. I am going to use parameterization concept here. First I want to load department number 10. Then I will change in the parameter file. I don't touch the ETL code. Then you can see how it will work. So first of all, I am connecting to first client to Power Center Design. For any task, we have 3 steps only. First one is creation of mapping. Second one is creation of session. Third one is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. Here, double click on repository. Enter the user ID and password. Now, double click on your folder. In order to create a mapping, first of all, we need to check whether our source and targets are ready or not. Where is my created source 62? Which folder it is available? This is source 63. Source 60. Okay, any folder you can take. What I will do is I will take this folder. Okay. So here source 62 is not there, then you need to import. Again, you need to create a DSM. So, yeah, here there. I'm going to do this. So first step is we need to check whether our source and targets are ready or not. What is my source here? EMP already available. So what about target? Target is not available. So import the target using target designer tool. From the menu bar, select targets, import from, enter the password. Now see, map underscore. Click on it. Now my source and targets are ready. I can create a mapping using mapping designer tool. Select mapping designer tool. From the menu bar, select mappings, click on create option. Enter the mapping name m underscore map underscore para. Click on. Select your source from the navigation bar. What's your source here? Similarly, what's your target here? EMP underscore map underscore para. Now here I am going to create filter transformation to filter the data. From the menu bar, select transformation, click on create option. Then it opens create transformation dialog box. Here you need to select filter. Enter the name. Whatever the name you want you can give, but Informatica recommended standard is it should start with FLT. Click on create. Click on. Select all the ports from source qualifier. Drag it onto filter. From filter, drag it onto port. So generally, suppose if I want to filter department number 10 employees, what I will do? Go to filter, properties. So remove the existing thing. We will give here D number is equal to 10. Simple. So suppose if you want to filter department number 20, again you need to come to the mapping, again you need to change. So to overcome that, what I will do is I am going to create a mapping parameter here. How to create a parameter? So from the menu bar, select mappings. There is option parameters and variables. Select this option. Then it opens a dialog box. So declare parameters and variables. So here icon is there. Add a new variable to this table. Click on this. See, by default it is coming as dollar dollar new variable one, variable type string. So I am changing dollar dollar d number. And first of all, I am going to explain parameters. So data type double. So if you want to give the initial value of the parameter, you can give initial value also. So here optional initial values. Any questions so far? Okay, so here important thing is how to declare a variable. So all parameters are variables, starts with dollar dollar symbol, and then select the type, data type you can select. If you want the initial value, you can also set here. Click on OK. Now double click on filter transformation. It opens edit transformation dialog box. Go to properties. So here you can see filter condition is to remove the existing thing. So d number is equal to, go to variables. See here mapping parameter. So far you have defined only one parameter. Dollar dollar d. See expression passed successfully. We are going to define that dollar dollar d number value in the parameter file. I will show you how to define. Click on OK. Click on OK. So here the condition value we have given as a parameter. Repository. So you are going to define that parameter value in a parameter file. What is a parameter file? A parameter file is nothing but a notepad file or text file. So I am opening one file. So the parameter file has some structure. So first you need to give the parameter header and then followed by parameters with values. So parameter header you need to define in square brackets. So you need to give the session name s underscore m underscore map underscore parent. I'm going to create session. Just I have given. There are different ways you can define parameter header, or if you want to define folder level also you can define folder name dot wf colon workflow name colon st dot session name. So there are multiple ways. There is one more thing also there, global. If you define global means everyone who have access to this repository, they can access this parameter file. Before you define folder level, only the people who has access to this folder, they can access the parameter file. So here also I will show you what are different ways. Go to help, contents, parameters. So this is parameter files. So here parameter file overview, types, parameter file structure, configure parameter file name and location, parameter file examples. Back. Here another option is configuring the parameter file name and location. This is first one, parameter files overview, parameter and variable types. Let's use parameters and variables. Parameter file structure. Yeah, see here. Under parameter file structure, you can see these are the headers. I said right, global you can give. All integration services, integration process, workflows, workplace, and sessions can access scope. So I have given another one also, folder name dot wf colon workflow name, .st colon session name. So there are different headers. Based on our requirement, we define the parameter header. So here I am going to define simply just session. And then followed by parameter value. $, what is the parameter name? D number. I want to assign value 10. You can define multiple parameters within a mapping. There is no limit. You can define n number of parameters. So important thing is parameter header followed by parameter value. So you can suppose if you have another session, so you can define one more header and then followed by values. Within a single parameter, you can see multiple headers followed by parameters and values also. I'm going to save this parameter file in my local path. File, save as computer, C drive. In real time, we are going to give the Unix path. Flat files. I want to store here param. So I have stored here. I am going to give this input in the session level. So in the mapping level, just I have declared the mapping parameter and I have used in the filter condition. So to define the value of a parameter, you need to go for parameter file. And you are going to give that parameter file in the session level. So our first step is completed, creation of mapping. Second step is creation of session. Select another client tool, workflow manager tool. Select task developer tool to create a session. From the menu bar, select tasks, click on create option. Enter the session name, whatever the name you want, you can give. S underscore, M underscore, not underscore. Click on. Now select the required mapping. Click on. Okay. As usual, we need to give relational connections for sources and targets. Now double click on the session. Go to mapping. So here you need to give the connections. For source 62. Target 62. Apply. But here we need to give the parameter file in the session level. So double click on this, go to properties tab. So here one option is there, parameter file name. You can give here. So you can give parameter file name either in the session level or workflow level also you can give. C drive slash flat files slash parameter.txt. Apply. Repository. Our first two steps are completed: creation of mapping, creation of session. Third step is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. Select workflow element. Expand sessions folder. Select your session. What's your session here? Repository. Now select your session. Right click. Start task. So it is in running state. Right click. That's all. See here 5 rows read from source, 2 rows loaded. You can check whether parameter value assigned or not in the session log also. See here, get session log. You can see here, use override value 10 for mapping parameter. See, $$ need number. So it is used 10. Now you can check in the database also whether 10 are loaded or not. Select star from map underscore 10. See, suppose if you want to load 20, generally we go for filter transformation, we change d number is equal to 20. Here we define it as a parameter, right? We are not going to touch Informatica code now. Just change in the parameter file. That's it. Now change to 20. Save the parameter file and rerun. That's it. So here also you can rerun. Right click, restart task. See here again 2 rows loaded. Here also it has taken 2 rows. Now get session log check. What is the parameter value it has taken? See, this time 20. Or you can check in the database also. So in this way you can load the required data, but just changing the parameter file content. You need not touch the mapping. In real time, once the code is moved to production, you don't have access, right access. So generally we use parameter files and we change whatever we want. Any questions so far? Okay. Now suppose if you don't give the parameter file, what happens? See what happens. Select task developer tool. Go to properties tab. So remove this. You did not specify parameter file name itself. What happens is apply. Now run your session. Right click, start task. See, now also succeeded. 0 rows loaded. So it won't fail. It is the responsibility of you need to give parameter file in the session level. So what is the value it has taken if you don't define anything? You see, it has taken a default value. For numerics, the default value it will take 0. So the department number equal to 0 implies not there in the source. So that's why 0 rows loaded. So important thing is whenever you are using parameters, go to session log and check whether proper values are taking or not. If it is not taking, something is wrong. Whether you haven't given parameter file, or even if you give parameter file, might not be declared parameter value in the parameter file. There might be many scenarios. You need to cross check each and every thing. And one more thing I said, right, in the workflow level also you can define parameter file. So workflows, edit, go to properties tab. See here parameter file. So you can define parameter file name in the session level or workflow level. If you define both the places, which has highest priority, in interviews they will ask a question. You have defined in the session level one parameter file name. Here you have defined another parameter file name. Which one it will take highest priority? So the parameter file name which you have given in the workflow has highest priority compared to the session level parameter. Any questions on mapping parameters? Anil, any questions?
No.
Now I am going to explain variables.
Venkat,
Yeah, tell me.
there you have given department in
parameter variables you have changed to 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
It loads the before department and also.
No, it won't load. See, I haven't truncated. That's why you can see 10 and 20.
Okay,
See,
if we enable the truncate option, then it doesn't show that.
yeah, if you enable truncate option, you can see only 20. It won't take previous values. Whatever you have given, only that condition at that time it will take. So if you give 20, only it will load 20 employees.
Okay.
If you give 10, only it will load 10 employees. Already there, so you can see 10 and 20. That is the reason.
Okay.
Now I am going to show variables. Mapping variables also represents constants values, but these values can change during session run. What is the difference between a parameter and a variable? First difference is parameter values are stored in a file, whereas variable values are stored in Informatica repository. Second difference is parameter values cannot change during session run, whereas variable values can change during session run. Those are the two major differences between parameters and variables. We are going to define parameter or variable with same syntax, dollar dollar. So dollar dollar ABC means that might be a parameter or variable. How do you know? Go to mapping designer tool. In the menu bar you can select mappings, select parameters and variables, then you can see that is a variable or parameter. Now my requirement is like this. When I run my session first time, it should load 10, department number 10 employees. When I run second time, automatically it should load 20. I should not touch anything. When I run third time, automatically it should load 30. When I run fourth time, automatically it should load 40. In such cases, we go for variables. I will show you how to do that. So first of all, I am connecting to source. So here select start from EMP underscore db. So this is your source. Now I am connecting to target. Give me 1 minute. I will be back. Sorry. Here one more thing, suppose if you don't define parameter value in a parameter file, then it will check initial value. If initial value is available, then it will take initial value automatically. So here I'm going to explain variables now. Same example. I'm creating a table ump underscore var. Number. Here my source is emp dpt and my target is emp underscore var. So for first step is creation of mapping. So in order to create a mapping, we need to verify whether our source and targets are ready or not. My source is already available. I need not import again. I need to import only target. Select target designer. From the menu bar, select targets, import from database. Now select the table. Click on repository. Now my source and targets are ready. I can create a mapping using mapping designer tool. Select mapping designer tool. From the menu bar, select mappings, click on create option. One underscore variable underscore check. Click on drag your source. Similarly, target. Now here I am going to define a filter transformation. From the menu bar, select transformation, click on create option. To open create transformation dialog box, from the drop down we need to select filter. Enter the name, whatever the name you want, you can enter. So select all the ports. Drag it onto filter. From filter, select all the ports. Drag it onto. Now here I am going to define a mapping variable. From the menu bar, select mappings, select parameters and variables. Then it opens declare parameters and variables. Here icon you can see, add a new variable to this table. Click on this. So I'm giving $d number. So this time I'm going to use as a variable. And so here also you can see initial value. If you don't define anything, then initial value will take. Click on. See, suppose if you define initial value, it will take initial value also. So I'm not defining anything initial value. If you don't define initial value, it uses default value. For an integer or double, default value is 0. If the value of the current variable value is 0. Go to properties. So remove the existing thing. So I'm giving the condition like this: d number is equal to set variable. This is a predefined function to set the value of the variable. So what is the variable name? $d number is our variable name. In order to set the variable name with value, so you need to use set variable function. It takes two arguments. First argument is the variable name and then followed by value. Whatever you want to assign value, you can assign. I am assigning $d number plus 10. So how it works? First set variable works. Set variable What you are setting, what is the value of $D number you are going to set. What happens first time? By default $D number is 0. 0 plus 10, 10. 10 is going to assign D number equal to 10. So and it is going to store in Informatica repository. Next time when you run, automatically it will take in from Informatica repository. 10 plus 10, 20. Then it will load 20 next time. So again it will store in Informatica repository 20 at the end of the session. Again 20 plus 10, 30. Like that it will work. Any questions? Okay. Like repository. So now our first step is completed, creation of mapping. Second step is creation of session. Select another client to workflow. Select task developer. From the menu bar, select tasks, click on enter the session name. S underscore M underscore variable underscore check. Click on complete. Now select your mapping. Click on. As usual, we need to give relational connections for sources and targets. Double click on the session. Go to mapping tab. So here you need to give source 62. Select target. Here select target 62. Click on apply. Register. Now I am going to run my session. So first two steps are completed. Creation of mapping. Second step, creation of session. Third one is creation of workflow or use the existing workflow. I'm going to use the existing workflow. Here you need to select session target. Repository. Now select your session. Right click, start task. See 5 rows red, only 2 rows loaded. So you can check variable value in the session log, but it will show you before running the mapping. It will show you 0. You can see $D number by default value is 0. So the session log generates when the mapping starts itself. That's why you cannot see 10. So how do you know the current value of the variable? So first check whether data loaded or not, then we will go. Select start from emp underscore. Now I want to know what is the current value of the variable. So there is one option here. In the workflow level, select your session. So here, view persistent values. See, $D number is value 10. This value automatically stored in Informatica repository. When you run next time, what happens? We use a set variable function $D number plus 10. 10 plus 10, 20 it will load. So in the session log it will show 0. Why? Because at the beginning of the mapping it has written. After completion of the session, it will write into the Informatica repository. Now I am going to rerun just to load department number 20 employees again. I am not going to touch anything. Right click, restart task. Now you can see in the session log initial value is 10. See, 10 you can see. But what is the current value of the variable? Again go to here. Select your session. Right click. View persistent value. See, 20 is your current value of the variable. If you run again, it will load 30 also. Select star from emp underscore. See, 20 loaded. Now if you run your mapping, what happens? 20 plus 10, 30 it will load automatically. After that 30 will be stored in Informatica repository. So if you want, you can reset the values also. You can change. You can make it to 0. Reset means. I'm going to rerun. See, rows red, only 1 row loaded. Why? Because with the department number 30 we have only one employee. select start from emp underscore. See, if you want to check the current value of the variable, select workflow designer tool, select your session, right click, view persistent values. See that. So when you run, automatically it will be 40, 50, 60 like that. It will automatically increment. Any questions so far? In interviews, they will ask one question. Suppose you want to change the value of a variable. How do you do that? You know, by seeing this, you know the value of the variable is 30. I want to make it as a default value, then reset is fine. Reset is only for default value setting. It goes to 0. I want to set 20. Then what I need to do? That is an introduction. What you need to do is you need to define a parameter file. So not only for mapping parameters, you can also use for variables to override the existing value of the variable. So you can create a parameter file and give the parameter file in the session level. So first priority is it will check whether parameter value exists or not. If exists, it will take. Otherwise, it will take from Informatica repository. If the value is also not there in Informatica repository, then it will take initial value. See here, initial value there. So here initial value is there if it is defined. If initial value also not there, then it will take default value. That is the priority. First parameter file exists, that value it will take. Second, Informatica repository. Third, initial value. And fourth, default value. In interviews also they will ask how variables priority. Any questions on mapping parameters or variables? Okay. And what is checkout check-in? In all companies, you cannot see checkout check-in. Checkout or check-in is versioning concept. Suppose today you developed one thing and the changes are requirements are closed, then you can check in the code. After some days, some changes came. Again, you can check out and you can work. So I will show you checkout. What is the difference between checkout and check-in? So you are going to work in a team environment. Suppose you have 10 members. You are using multiple folders. Suppose you are using this folder and your colleague is using another folder. You cannot see whatever your colleague is developing. If you want to see whatever your colleague is developing, he needs to check in his code. Then only it will be public. Suppose I have developed this mapping. So right by default it is in checkout state. Tick mark is there. By default checkout state. No one can see unless someone logged with my username and password. So I want to make it as a public. Anyone can see. So right click, versioning, check-in. So while moving from your folder to project folder also, we do check-in. Versioning, check-in. Then it will ask comments, initial version. Now the other people also can view your mapping. So when you check in, you cannot do any changes in your mapping. So all are in disabled state. See, you can't do anything. You cannot do modifications when your mapping is checking. So in order to do any modifications, again you need to check out. Check-in means final version. No one can change your content. You are going to store in the repository one version. This is my first version. So if you want to do some changes, again check out. Right click, versioning, check out. I want to add a new column. Whatever comments you want, apply to all. Then again it will tick mark will come. See, now you change something and you don't want, you want to go to previous version. You have done same changes in checkout mode and you don't want these changes, you want to go to previous version. Then what you need to do is right click, versioning, undo checkout. That means it goes to the previous version. So here what it is telling, undo checkout removes the checked out version of the selected objects permanently from the repository. This results in a loss of metadata. Would you like to continue with this operation? Yes. Then you can see we went to previous checked in version. So main advantage is if the requirements are finalized, you can check in. You can see like that multiple versions. In future, if this version is not required, then you can go for previous version. In a team-based environment, you can see checkout and check in. But in all companies, they are not going to use. Why? Because if you buy Informatica product, and also you need to pay for license if you want to go for versioning concept. Simple thing is by default checkout. If you want to store permanently something, you want to create a version, check in. Again, you want to do some changes on the top of that, again checkout and do the changes. This checkout check-in version we use in some of the products. So if you have multiple versions, you can see view history also. So you can see complete information here. What is the object name? What is the object type? What is the timestamp? What is the version name? Version comments, folder name, who committed that username, with which user the code is checked in. Everything you can see. What is the host name? You can see all information. Suppose you have done some changes again here, something. So first you need to check out. You want to do the changes. So here groups, add one more condition, 100 set. Where 10 9. Okay. Now save it. Again you need to do check-in. This is second version. Now versioning, go to history. See, version 1, version 2. You can compare the differences. What is the difference between first version and second version also? You don't know what are the changes. Then go to compare with previous version. So this is version 1 and this is version 2. So mappings, any differences, instances, see it is showing in router there is a difference. Why? Because it automatically see in red color. So double click on router. So here it is version 1, version 2 it is showing. Go to transformation. Here nothing changed. Ports, anything changed? No. Properties, no. Groups changed. See, earlier we have given 10, now we have given 100. So you can compare each and everything, previous version, current version, if you have versioning concept enabled in your project. Any questions so far? Okay. So in the next class, I will explain some other concepts. Thank you. Bye.